In the ancient village of Akoro, fear had a sound. Not screams, not cries. Drums. Low. Distant. Beating only at midnight, when the rest of the world had gone dark and still. The kind of sound that crept beneath your skin before you even knew you were awake. Children pressed tight against their mothers. Old men stared at the ceiling and said nothing. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Because the elders had given them one law, and no one had ever broken it. When the midnight drums begin, no one must look toward the forest. No one. Not ever. Beyond the village, past the last hut and the great irako tree the children were forbidden to touch, lay the evil forest. It had no other name. Not among the young, not among the elders. It was simply what it was, a place of endings. The banished were taken there. Thieves, traitors, those accused of dark powers. They were not killed. That would have been a mercy. Instead, they were left inside without food, without fire, without the prayers that guide a soul toward rest. Just abandoned. And the forest swallowed them quietly, without a sound. For generations, people accepted this without question. The elders said it was necessary, that a village must be clean, that rot must be cut away before it spreads. So the accused were taken, their names erased from mouths and memory. And for a long time, the forest stayed quiet. But then came the drums. Low at first. Easy to dismiss as wind. Easy to blame on restless spirits. The elders said it meant nothing. And the people believed them. Because believing the elders had always been easier than asking the question that frightened everyone most. What is inside that forest? The first to vanish was Mama Chisholm, an old woman who had lived alone ever since her husband was banished 7 years before. Her neighbors found her hut empty at dawn. No sign of struggle. No footprints in the red earth outside her door. Just a trail of ash, pale and fine, like the dust of burned cloth, stretching in a thin, unbroken line from her doorstep toward the trees. The elders arrived quickly. They swept the ash away and told the village she had gone to visit relatives. But everyone knew. Mama Chisholm had no relatives left. 3 weeks passed. Then Emeka disappeared. He was a strong, restless young man known for laughing too loud and sleeping too little. His mother found his sleeping mat cold in the morning, his sandals still beside it, as if he had walked out barefoot into the night without a second thought. Again, no footprints. Again, ash. A thin trail, just like the one before, drawn in the same direction. The elders came faster this time. They swept it clean before most of the village could gather. But Chitty had already seen it. He always watched. And he never forgot. Then came the disappearance that broke the village open. A child. Little Ada. 6 years old, with bright eyes and a laugh her mother said sounded like water. She had told her mother that evening that she heard someone singing outside their window, a song she almost recognized. When morning came, Ada was gone. The ash trail from her home was the widest yet, wide enough for 2 people to walk side by side. The elders held a meeting that same morning and raised their voices. Look away from the forest. This is the cost of disobedience. Look away. Chitty had heard those words before. His father, a gentle healer named Obinna, had been accused of cursing a neighbor's harvest with dark medicine. No proof was ever given. Only accusations. Only the elders' judgment, swift and final. One rainy night, they dragged Obinna from his home while Chitty, still a boy, watched from behind the door. His father had not fought, had not cried out. He simply turned and looked back at his son, eyes steady, filled with a quiet, unbreakable love, and then the forest took him. 12 years had passed. Chitty had never stopped believing in his innocence. So Chitty kept quiet, as he always had. He moved through his days with his head down and his mouth shut, the same as everyone else. But at night, when the drums began, something different stirred in him. Not fear. Something older. Closer to memory. As if the sound was already part of him, waiting to be heard. 3 nights after little Ada disappeared, he was lying still on his mat, eyes open in the dark, when the voice came. Soft. Broken. Like a man who had not spoken in years. It called his name. Just once. Chitty. He told himself it was a dream. He told himself the same thing the second night and the third. But on the fourth night, the voice returned, and this time it did not stop at his name. Soft, but clear, it said, "Come and see what they made us become." Chitty sat up so fast his head spun. The hut felt too small, too silent. He rose, wrapped his cloth around his shoulders, and crossed to the door. His hand stayed there a long moment, pressed flat against the old wood, and then, slowly, he pushed it open. The village was still. Not the peaceful stillness of sleep. Something heavier, like the whole world holding its breath. Every door was sealed. Every fire was out. Not even the night insects made a sound. Chitty stood in the open compound, his wrapper tight around him, and looked slowly around. Nothing moved, but then he turned toward the trees. And everything changed. The branches at the edge of the forest were swaying in wide, slow arcs, and there was no wind. From somewhere deep inside the darkness came a glow. Orange. Steady. Like a fire that had long been waiting. Chitty could not look away. The glow was orange and even. The fire of something that had been burning for a very long time. And around it figures. He could see them from where he stood. Dark shapes moving in slow, deliberate circles around the flame. Not wildly. Not in chaos. But together, in rhythm, as though following music so old it had no beginning. Their steps were unhurried and exact, each one placed with the careful weight of ceremony. Something practiced. Something remembered. As though they had been doing this, night after night, for years and years unseen. Then the drum stopped. Mid-beat, as if cut by a blade. The silence that replaced them was so sharp it hurt. Chitty's chest tightened. Out in the forest, the figures around the fire began to slow, and then they stopped. Every single one of them, perfectly still. And then, as if moved by one shared thought, they turned. Not toward each other. Not toward the village. Toward him. He could not see their faces. The distance was too great, the night too deep. But he felt their attention fall on him like something solid. Like a hand. Pressing down. Chitty should have run. Every sane part of him said so. But his legs would not move. Because in that same moment, something shifted among the figures near the fire. One shape, taller than the rest, slower in its turning, began to walk forward. Not toward the village. Just forward, away from the group, into the narrow space between the fire and the tree line. Into a place where the orange light barely reached the edge of the dark. And then Chitty's breath stopped. Because even across the distance, across 12 impossible years, he recognized the way that figure moved. He stumbled backward. His heel caught on a loose stone, and he nearly fell. His hands found the wall of his hut, and he pressed himself hard against it, breathing fast and shallow, still staring. But the figure did not cross the tree line. It stopped exactly at the forest's edge, right where the last of the firelight faded into pure black. And it stood there, patient, unmoving, like something that had waited a very long time and had learned not to rush, like something that had known, for years and years, this night would come, that Chitty would look. He went back inside, shut the door, and sat against it, knees pulled to his chest. His body would not stop shaking, but his mind was clear, terribly, perfectly clear, because the walk he had just witnessed, the height, the way that figure had turned first, slowly, as if already certain it would be recognized. All of it belonged to only one person. To Obinna, his father. 12 years abandoned in the evil forest, and he was not dead. He was there, alive. And now his message had finally arrived. Come and see what they made us become. Thanks for watching Tales by Arlise. Please follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a comment below if you love this story and wants to see the next part.